Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, no matter where you are around the world, YouTubers. This video is like my thumbnail suggested. Do not bring your wife or fiance from Philippines to the United States until you hear what I have to say. Hi, I'm Roy.
I'm Christine.
I'm Ish.
And welcome to our channel, Married to a Filipina. Good afternoon, YouTubers. Might look a little tired. I had a long day at work, but like the thumbnail suggested in the title of this video, don't bring your fiance or your wife to the United States until you hear what I got to say. You know, our journey started almost 6 years ago, and of course I did like so many others did. I flew over to the Philippines and met my girlfriend and eventually proposed to her, and we went through the K-1 visa process, and I brought her here. Now during that process I had lots of friends that suggested to me never bring my fiance or my wife to the United States. I said, why? I mean, it sounded like, why? I mean, this is a wonderful country. They said, well, if you bring a younger Filipina here, you're a little bit older, maybe a lot older, I don't know. Somebody's going to steal her. And I said, well, really? I mean, like, come on. Someone could steal her anywhere. If we don't have a good marriage or a good relationship, it's not going to work anywhere in the world. They also said, well, you don't want them Americanized. I said, what does that mean? Well, they're going to get fat and lazy and not going to want to cook for you. And it's like, come on. You know, a Filipina that's raised in a good home, understands how to take care of her husband, they're not going to change because they've gotten to America. And a lot of other things where, you know, protect your assets, you know, we can go down that financial path of, you know, protect all your assets, don't put any trust in the Filipina. I'm not that kind of guy, you know. It's like, well, wait a minute. If I go to the Philippines and I marry her there and we stay there, she gets none of my Social Security if I ever pass away. She'll never see the country that I'm from or the country that I love. All of my family, unless they travel there. We have a 13-year-old stepson. At the time he was 9, and it was like, well, then he can't get a good education in the United States or continuing education. You know, he wants to go to college. His goal, he wants to be a surgeon. You could never do that in the Philippines. Not unless I won the lottery, you know. So it's like, you know, that none of them things added up for me. Now, they may make a difference for you, and I understand that everybody's life is different, but our life was, no, I'm going to bring my wife to the United States, and we're going to start a family here. That's exactly what we did. And 2 years ago, my wife arrived here. We were married a couple months later, and everything is just, it's literally been a whirlwind, you know. Life has been grand, it's been wonderful, it's been good. I had a very small home, a 900 square foot home. It wasn't big enough for the three of us. It was perfect for a single guy. So we purchased a larger home, moved to another town. In fact, as you can see in the video, we're in the country. I bought an 1.5 acres with a 1,400 square foot ranch style home with a 3.5 car garage, and I've got a large pole building out back here and a chicken coop. We're not raising any chickens yet because we want to go to the Philippines, and well, I don't know who we'd get to take care of the chickens, let alone them 2 stupid cats we have. So it's like, well, maybe we'll get chickens after we come back from the Philippines, because Ish wants to raise chickens. So we moved here, and life took on a course of its own last June. It's been such a wonderful change. We just kind of fell into a support group of other Filipinas and other gentlemen like myself that brought their Filipinas here from the Philippines. And man, we're going. You know, it's almost every weekend we've got a party. And in fact, my wife right now, she's making empanadas because she's had one of the Filipinas contract her to make dozens of empanadas. So that's what she's doing at the present time. So it's been good for us. And when they first arrived, I knew that she needed a support group, and I was fortunate enough to know a couple Filipinas in the town we were originally from, and Zell and Rosalina were wonderful, and they kind of made Christine feel so much at home here, you know, because I know how it feels when I go to the Philippines and it's so different. Everything is different. That I wanted her to feel welcome and at home. So from there, it branched off to many more, and it's just been great. Ish is in school here. He's in 7th grade. When he came here, he was in 6th, of course. The school system where we live now is wonderful. They've got a website where we can look on daily, and it's like a virtual classroom to follow what they're doing today. And we've got a running score of their grades, homework assignments, so forth. And his grades have improved. Wow, it's great. He's in band, he's in basketball. We went to a solo ensemble 3 weeks ago. He's got an entourage of friends, for God's sakes. I mean, we go in the room, it's like solo ensemble. It's like, you know, your parents and maybe grandparents, you know, would go in there and watch a child play for the instructor. Well, the first rows were all of his friends, and it's like, wow, this is a dream come true, you know. Um, uh, Last night I took him downtown. He wanted to go play basketball. This weekend he's got a party, so he's really integrated into society here in America wonderfully well. My wife, of course, she has her group of Filipina friends, and I've gotten to be friends with a bunch of the guys, and it just keeps growing. You know, it just keeps growing, and it's like I couldn't have planned this, you know, and I go back and I think about all of the friends of mine that told me, don't bring your Filipina to the United States. It's like, if you only knew how good it's been. It's wonderful. And in fact, they will know when they see this video that yeah, it's been great, you know. We've made some decisions in our life to make, of course, our life better. I want my wife and child to see America. I want them to see America for the grandeur that it has. I also want them to experience, you know, the fishing, the hunting, snowmobiling, downhill skiing, whatever it might be, you know. And so this year we purchased a couple extra snowmobiles. Now we have we all have our own personal snowmobile now. We're ready to go, you know. We went once this year. It was a blast, and we stopped on the trail, and I said to my wife, well, what do you think? And she was just ecstatic. You know, we're up north, it's gorgeous. There's no one around for 10 miles, and the trail was peaceful, and we stopped and had hot chocolate and coffee. And I had a boat when they arrived, so of course, April of last year, I took Ish and Christine out fishing on the Bay of Green Bay, their very first time fishing ever. And Ish caught a 28.5-inch walleye, so it was pretty exciting for them. And a 26 to follow it up, and then they both got seasick. I think that's kind of hilarious. They live on an island, they don't know how to swim, and they get seasick. So that's okay. I just chuckled at that. We're kind of working through the seasickness stuff. So we try to have a well-rounded life. I work 4 days a week here. So we have a 3-day weekend every weekend, and we try to plan exciting things. And our goal at this point is that in 5 years, Christine and Ish will both have their citizenship. Ish can go on to secondary school, if it be tech school or college. And then we're going to go to the Philippines, build our home, and go back and forth, and stay 3, 4, 5 months here, the remainder of the time in the Philippines. And so it's good. So I know that a lot of people tell a lot of others that never bring their Filipina to the United States. And in my opinion, um, that is just really bad advice. Um, I know I've heard others mention about the racism. You know, we've had very little of that. Don't get me wrong; it's not that we haven't had any. We've had a little, but I've come to determine that when we go to any store or anything and people are looking at us funny, that's not racism. They're very curious. You know, where did this dude get that little girl from? Well, just ask me, I'll tell you. And a lot of times when we sit down and we chat with someone, they're interested. They want to know, wow, how did you meet her? Wow, it's amazing. Online, how? And and so they're very curious. So when people look at you, don't assume that they're being racist. They're curious as to, I wonder how that came about. And I think we do that in our own other ways also. As far as the politics in this country, I've heard a lot of that too. I don't have any. I don't have any. You know, there's nothing on our social media. We don't buy into any of it. I learned a long time ago that if the political rhetoric that's in this country, if it's going to destroy friends and family, I don't want any part of that. And if you're willing to destroy ties to your friends and family, I really don't want any part of you. And so we don't have that noise in our life. When we go to get-togethers and parties and so forth, that's the farthest from our chat of the day. We don't indulge in it. We don't humor it. In fact, if someone wants to bring up politics somewhere, I'd rather just walk away. I don't need it. 6 years ago when I arrived in the Philippines, I wondered how were people so happy? How could they be so happy with nothing? In this country, we're led to believe that if once I get that new car, man, my God, I'm going to be happy. Once I get that new home, I'm going to be happy. Once I get my children through college, I'm going to be happy. Everything has got a happiness figure, And it's like these people have nothing. And then I realized that happiness comes from within. So anything in our life that influences our emotions not to be happy isn't in our life. We just eliminate it, because no matter where we go in this world, there's going to be problems. There's no perfect country, I'm not creating a fallacy when I want to retire to the Philippines. I mean, I know that they have shortages and you can't find things you want, and you got brownouts and internet sucks and traffic is horrible, and the roads are bad. No one knows how to drive. It's complete chaos, but I love the place and I love the people. So that's where I would tend to retire. But so anything that comes and influences our life in a negative way, we just remove it. We live our life peacefully and happily, and that's a choice. It's a choice you all have to make. So I wanted you to know just how our life was here. It's been a long road for us. It's been over 5 years, over 2 years in America. And it's been very good. It's been very good, and I'm sure it'll continue to be very good. And in my preceding videos, I can also show how the dating scene may or may not work on the internet for you if you're curious, what to look for, the scams, and also our day-to-day life here is we're going to try to put this on video. For when we get old and gray. Guess I kind of got the gray part going already. But just for posterity's sake. And I hope you all can follow us along on that journey. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.